I was born and raised into a Christian family, so it was very commonplace in my life to hear about Jesus and the Bible and to attend church regularly. However, it wasn't until much later in my life that I fully understood what it meant to have a relationship with God, and it wasn't something that I desired until much later in my life. Moving into middle school, that was still true for me. I knew who God was, but I didn't know Him personally or necessarily want to know Him personally. And so I would use the word restrained to describe my life at that time, my life before Christ. Middle school was a very dark and challenging time for me. During that time, I struggled a lot with my self worth and my self image. I was never happy with who I was as a person, and I didn't feel that I could relate to anybody with that, or I had anybody to turn to with that. So instead, I turned to food, and I used food as a coping mechanism, as a way to kind of make myself feel better and stuff down some of those emotions and feelings of inadequacy. And because of that, it caused me to slip into some pretty bad depression through that time, and so it's just a very isolated and dark time for me. The summer after my seventh grade year of middle school, I went on a mission trip to Peru, and that was a huge turning point in my life. That was the first time I can say that I really experienced God, and I really felt Him and knew who He was. So I came back from that 2 week trip feeling just more empowered and invigorated, and not as held back by some of the things in my life. But then moving into high school, I definitely turned away from that. I turned away from God. I was still going to church and a youth group, and I was very involved, but it was all very fake. I didn't have any relationship with God. I didn't desire to know Him. And again, my life just became very empty and restrained again. I just could feel that. I was struggling with my self image again. I was turning to food as a coping mechanism. I was turning to the wrong groups of friends, trying to find approval, and self worth through guys, because I didn't feel that I deserved it from my family, and I definitely didn't feel that I deserved to go to God for that, because I'd abandoned Him. But then moving into college, I felt that I had a fresh start, and that I had the chance to maybe change things for good this time. And my freshman year proved to be challenging, but very very revealing. And so I started going to Cru with my sister, and meeting some people at Cru, and just really thinking like, that is what I want for my life. I want to be just so free in God and just feel so loved. And so I had that thought, but I never did much of it until the summer after my freshman year of college. And that was just a very eye-opening time for me. In that time, God just really met me and just really revealed a lot of the sin in my life and the depth of my sin. And because of that, I was able to let go of these feelings of inadequacy and not feeling loved. And I was able to let go of using food as a coping mechanism, and instead turn to God. And so I'd say my life after Christ would be released. So now that I have found Christ and I've really owned that, He has really released me from those dark thoughts and that sin that's in my life, and has just let me know that I am truly loved and accepted in Him.